sports history. A three-peat opportunity beckons for the U.S. women, but they will face plenty of obstacles, including the pressure that comes with being the team everyone wants to dethrone. The U.S. earning their historic fourth star. This is a dynasty, my friends.
Oh, dynasty's tough. It's generational excellence. It's something that you don't see very often.
The USA are the world champions. The United States has won the Women's World Cup.
At the top, obviously, everybody always wants to be the one to take you off that.
The U.S. wins the 2015 Women's World Cup. That's it. The U.S. wins their fourth World Cup.
We're chasing our fifth championship, and I think, we don't take those moments for granted.
The legacy is so rich, and the history is just so successful. There's so many trophies with this team. From Christine Lilly and Mia Hamm to Abby Wambach, it is passed down to, myself and the other players on this team, and we take that responsibility so seriously.
The way they've lifted a nation, the way they've lifted a gender has been something to behold.
I've always appreciated the success that this team has stood on, but on top of that, still fighting for more, wanting more.
Not only has no team ever won 3 in a row, but no female has ever won 3 World Cups. The only footballer in the world that has ever won 3 World Cups is Pele. So to be able to accomplish that would be, it would be unmatched.
For the first time at a Women's World Cup, that there could be a couple of different teams lifting that trophy.
Every single day we're in a pressure moment.
If the U.S. team doesn't win the World Cup, that's a failure.
There's so many nerves and anxiety associated with the expectation that we put on ourselves.
You can crumble under the idea that there is pressure, or you can see it as an opportunity.
There's nothing like pushing yourself to your absolute max capacity. At the end of the day, if you're not consistent, you're not going to be a dynasty.
And a fabulous finish from Trinity Rodman.
It doesn't matter what you just did, it matters what you're trying to achieve. Perfection and winning all the time.
That is the standard, and no one will accept less than that. Every single day, we're fighting to be on top of that podium again, and we have a target on our back always.
People love to hate this USA team.
The reality is, pressure is a privilege.
A privilege?
It's a privilege to wear this crest and to represent this country.
I think it's fun to have that target on your back. I feel like for me, it's like the best part of it.
The privilege of pressure. What is that pressure like inside that locker room to carry on this dynasty?
Well, I can remember at the age of 17, I went to a live 1999 Women's World Cup game. And from that point on, my dream just grew bigger and better. I was a little girl, loved playing soccer, and that transformed me into wanting to play in a World Cup. When I got into the first World Cup I played in 2007, put that jersey on, I was so nervous, incredibly nervous. But it's more than just that moment. The pressure, the expectation, what the pioneers did prior to us, it was massive that we went away from that winning, and that was the expectation every single moment we stepped on the field.
What do Americans love? We love habitual winners. We love the best in the world, and this team is all of those things and has been for a long time. It comes with expectation, it comes with pressure, as we mentioned, it comes with reward and opportunity, but it is domination by design. If you look back at the resources and the respect that we have put into women's sports and obviously the women's game in terms of what we have done culturally and the statutes that we have forced that change. But it's given us this incredible advantage and this gap. Now the rest of the world is coming, but as far as the pressure, there are plenty of teams and players at this World Cup that would gladly trade places with the U.S. in this quote pressure situation.
But let me just please ask you one question. With all this expectation that sits on the US shoulders, don't they actually have more to lose than they can win at the end?
100%.
Yeah, so this is a really big burden, and this is a tough one to take. If you can lose more than you can win, I don't know if that's the best motivation you can have.
But all the greatest teams and athletes in the world ultimately have been able to do it in that big moment and deliver when everybody expects you to deliver. That's a star, and that's, a historic type of team. That's what this team is trying to be on a consistent basis.
Germany was in position to win back-to-back Women's World Cup titles. Won it all in 07, couldn't repeat it 4 years later. The U.S., no surprise, sitting atop the FIFA World Rankings entering this World Cup. They've held that #1 spot since June of 2017. My goodness, Germany, Sweden, rounding out the top 3. Your reigning European champs, England, there they are sitting at #4. Olympic gold medalist Canada, #7. The Dutch, Austria, rounding out the top 10. For another perspective on this Women's World Cup, we're joined now by Fox betting insider Chris "The Bear" Felica. It's the question I've been getting, you've been getting for weeks and months right now. Who are the teams that are actually going to win this?
Well, historically, no one outside the top 4 in the rankings has won the Women's World Cup. So that obviously leaves U.S., Sweden, England, and Germany as their logical contenders. But I think the big question here is, and we've been talking history continuing itself, or do we get finally an outlier and have a #5 or #6 team to win this thing?
Yeah, we're saying a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, which is incredible. It's interesting because a lot of bettors will bet on something that they want to see happen, not necessarily what they think will happen. And I think as Americans, we all would love to see the 3-peat and see the U.S. win. But I think as a bettor, as a handicapper, there are opportunities to look outside of the U.S. if you're looking to
You're always
to make
looking
a little
for those
wager.
opportunities. Chris is going to be hunting opportunities throughout the course of the Women's World Cup here in Australia, New Zealand. Chris, thanks and welcome to the Fox Sports family as well. Norway beat the U.S. in the 95 World Cup semis en route to lifting the trophy tonight. They begin their campaign against the co-host New Zealand. Our players to watch coming up after the break.
Seems fine to me.
Yeah.
History running out the top 3. Your reigning European champs, England, there they are sitting at #4. Olympic gold medalist Canada, #7. The Dutch, Austria, rounding out the top 10. For another perspective on this Women's World Cup, we're joined now by Fox betting insider Chris "The Bear" Felica. It's the question I've been getting, you've been getting for weeks and months right now. Who are the teams that are actually going to win this?
Well, historically, no one outside the top 4 in the rankings has won the Women's World Cup. So that obviously leaves U.S., Sweden, England, and Germany as their logical contenders. But I think the big question here is, and we've been history continuing itself, or do we get finally an outlier and have a #5 or #6 team to win this thing?
Yeah, we're saying a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, which is incredible. It's interesting because a lot of bettors will bet on something that they want to see happen, not necessarily what they think will happen. And I think as Americans, we all would love to see the 3-peat and see the U.S. win. But I think as a bettor, as a handicapper, there are opportunities to look outside of the U.S. if you're looking to
You're always
to make
looking
a little
for those
wager.
opportunities.
Absolutely.
Chris is going to be hunting opportunities throughout the course of the Women's World Cup here in Australia, New Zealand. Chris, thanks and welcome to the Fox Sports family as well. Norway beat the U.S. in the 95 World Cup semis en route to lifting the trophy tonight. They begin their campaign against the co-host New Zealand. Our players to watch coming up after the break.
Seems fine to me.
Yeah.